Picture this. You have been standing for hours under the California night sky that is slowly turning cold. You have been singing at the top of your lungs for almost 2 full hours. Your body is exhausted, but your heart refuses to leave. And then, without any warning, without any leaks from anyone on the internet, without a single setlist prediction getting it right, that intro plays. That beat drops, and 50,000 people inside Stanford Stadium collectively hold their breath. That was not a song from the Arirang album. That was not a song from the regular setlist that BTS had been performing since the tour opened and going back in April. That was blood, sweat, and tears. And Jimin had just stepped forward. Welcome back to the channel, ARMY. Today we are talking about one of the rarest and most iconic moments of the entire Arirang World Tour so far, the blood, sweat, and tears performance at Stanford Day 2 on May 17, 2026. A moment that only the lucky ARMY, who were physically present that night, got to experience. And we are going to break down exactly why this moment was not just a surprise, but an event that will be remembered in BTS history for a very, very long time. But before we get to that night, we need to talk about something important first. We need to talk about why Blood, Sweat, and Tears is not just another song. Why it is not just one of many BTS hits. And why when Jimin performs a song, not just sings it, but truly dances it with his entire body and soul, the reaction from ARMY always goes far beyond anything expected. We have to go back to October 2016. At that point, BTS was still in the middle of proving themselves to the world. They already had a loyal fanbase and recognized hits, but the wider world had not yet fully seen them as global superstars. Then came the Wings album, and its lead single Blood, Sweat, and Tears changed everything overnight. This song was unlike anything BTS had ever made before. It was not about youthful energy or school stories. It was dark, sensual, complex, and bold. The concept was inspired by Hermann Hesse's novel Damien, a heavy literary work that explores the journey of a young person finding their identity between temptation, the duality of good and evil, and the pain of growing up. BTS did not take this concept lightly. They dove completely into that narrative, and the result was one of the most artistically ambitious music videos that K-pop had ever produced. And at the center of all of it was Jimin. You need to understand that Jimin was not just a dancer in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He was the center of gravity. From the very first second the song started, the eyes of viewers were naturally pulled toward him. There is something about the way Jimin moves that is different from everyone else. Not because he is harder or more explosive, but precisely because of the opposite. Jimin moves with a deceptive softness. Every movement flows like water, but with extraordinary precision. Every body isolation, every transition, every dramatic pause, all executed with a level of accuracy that feels almost impossible for something that looks so natural. Jimin's background as a contemporary dancer in Busan before he joined Big Hit is deeply visible in this song. He is not a dancer who simply memorizes choreography. He is a dancer who understands that every movement must tell a story. And in Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the story he is telling is about temptation, about something dangerous that you simply cannot refuse. Through his eyes, through the angle of his body, through the way his fingers move, Jimin communicates all of that without saying a single word. One of the most legendary moments from this era is the blindfolded dance sequence, Jimin dancing with his eyes completely covered. Think about what that means. Performing highly technical and precise choreography on a massive stage, in front of thousands of people, with eyes that cannot see anything at all. And the result was not just someone managing to get through it. The result was something that hit both visually and emotionally in a way that stayed with people long after. The vulnerability created by the blindfold actually deepened the narrative of the song, about someone who surrenders themselves to something they know might destroy them. Another moment that ARMY has never been able to forget is what fans often call the shoulder moment. The way Jimin uses his shoulders in the choreography with a quality that feels both unplanned and impossibly perfect at the same time. Movements like these are what made Jimin's dancing in Blood, Sweat, and Tears more than just technique. They made a genuine art. Blood, Sweat, and Tears was then carried into the Wings tour in 2017, BTS's first world tour in a large stadium format. And in every city, in every country, Jimin's moments within this song were always among the most anticipated of the night. Fancams of Jimin performing it accumulated millions of views. Even years after that tour ended, those videos were still being rewatched over and over by both longtime and new ARMY. The song was last performed live at a major concert during Permission to Dance on Stage in Las Vegas in April 2022. By that point, BTS was already in a countdown toward a long hiatus that no one knew when would end. Every song they performed at that Las Vegas concert felt like a farewell that had not been formally spoken. And Blood, Sweat, and Tears, with all its weight, all its artistic depth, all the memories attached to it, felt like a promise left hanging in the air. Then came the long stretch of silence. All the BTS members went through mandatory military service. One by one they left, and ARMY learned patience in a way they had never had to practice before. No concerts, no tours, no Jimin dancing on a massive stage in front of tens of thousands of people. All that remained were memories, old videos, and the hope that one day they would come back. Suga was the last member to be discharged from the military in June 2025. And after that, the BTS machine began moving again at remarkable speed. The Arirang album was announced, then released on March 20th, 2026. The Netflix comeback live concert at Gwangwamun Square happened, and the largest world tour in K-pop history officially began in Goyang on April 9th, 2026. The Arirang World Tour is a monster in terms of scale. More than 85 concert dates across 34 cities in 23 countries. A revolutionary 360-degree, in-the-round stage setup that places the audience at the center of the experience. Tickets sold out in minutes in almost every city. And BTS, 7 people who left as young men and returned as adults with a different kind of depth and experience, brought an energy that simply cannot be captured in ordinary words. Throughout the tour, there was always one thing ARMY waited for most intensely each night: the surprise songs. Every concert, BTS performed 2 songs that were not part of the main set list. Different songs in every city every night. In Goyang Night 1 it was Microcosmos and I Need You. In Tokyo it was Save Me and Crystal Snow. In Tampa it was Magic Shop and Permission to Dance, then Boy With Love and Pied Piper the following night. Every single night became a unique and exclusive experience for the ARMY who were there. And then came Stanford. Stanford itself was already something extraordinary, even before a single note was played. This was BTS's first Bay Area concert since they played Oakland Arena back in 2018, 8 years ago. 3 sold-out nights at Stanford Stadium, a venue that had only recently entered the world of major concerts. Capacity of 50,000 people per night, and every ticket was gone in a matter of hours. Stanford Day 1, May 16th, was extraordinary. RM joked that the California sunlight still blazing at 7 p.m. made them feel a little embarrassed because the stage lighting effects could not work at their full potential. But the energy was unstoppable. And Jimin, as Korean media reported with the headline that he was the golden-haired warrior who set Stanford ablaze, performed with his long blonde hair and intense black leather outfit, running to every corner of the 360-degree stage, making eye contact with thousands of ARMY. The surprise songs that first night? Different songs entirely. Then came the second night, May 17th, 2026. Stanford Day 2. Nobody knew. Nobody predicted it. Not a single fan account leaked it. Not a single insider dropped any hint. The ARMY, who were there, arrived expecting a tremendous concert, but they were not necessarily ready for what was about to happen. As the concert moved through its main set list, new Arirang songs, Fake Love, Dynamite, Butter, Idol, everything was incredible, everything made Stanford Stadium roar. But then came that moment. The moment everyone had been waiting for all night without knowing it. The surprise songs. And then that beat dropped. No one needed to explain to 50,000 ARMY inside Stanford Stadium what song that was. ARMY did not need 2 seconds. They knew that beat. They knew that intro. And the reaction that followed was something that is genuinely difficult to describe. An explosion of screaming, tears that could not be held back, people grabbing their own heads because they could not believe this was actually happening in front of their eyes in real time. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Live. In 2026. After more than 4 years. And Jimin, ParkJimin, who grew from a gifted dancer into one of the most iconic performers this industry has ever produced, was there on that stage, with his entire body and soul. What made this moment so emotionally heavy was not just the song itself. It was about everything that had happened in between the last time Jimin performed this song and that night. During the hiatus, Jimin did not stop creating. He released his solo album Face, which immediately exploded, with Like Crazy becoming the first K-pop solo song to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. He collaborated with major artists across genres. He proved that he was not just a component of BTS, but a complete artist with an identity and a voice that was entirely and fully his own. But there is something different about watching Jimin return to a BTS stage, to the songs that defined who he is as a performer. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is not just a song from the past. It is a landmark. It is the moment where the world first saw Jimin not just as a talented member of BTS, but as a genuine artist who could transform choreography into moving poetry. And at Stanford Day 2, Jimin brought all of that back, but with an entirely new dimension. A Jimin who had grown, who had been through the long hiatus, through military service, through a remarkable solo career, and returned as a deeper version of himself. When his body moved to the beat that ARMY knew by heart, there were layers of emotion that did not exist in any previous performance. There was gratitude. There was longing that had finally been answered. There was a collective awareness among 50,000 people that they were witnessing something that would not easily come again. That is what makes the surprise song system in the Arirang World Tour so artistically brilliant. BTS did not bring blood, sweat, and tears to every night. They did not make it a routine song that you knew for certain would be there. They held on to it and gave it only to one group of ARMY, those who were in the right place at the right time. Stanford Day 2. This reflects a deep understanding of how to create a moment. A legendary song does not lose its power simply by being performed, but the value of a moment is often born from its rarity. By making Blood, Sweat, and Tears a surprise song, something you cannot order, cannot predict, cannot guarantee for yourself except by showing up and hoping, BTS transformed it from just a great song in a set list into a gift given only to a chosen few. And for the ARMY who were not there that night, for those watching the fan cam on YouTube at 3 in the morning through earphones, with a heart that is a mixture of joy at seeing Jimin dance and an ache at not being there in person, this moment means something too. This is proof that the Arirang World Tour is not just another concert tour. It is a series of events, each unique, each irrepeatable, each becoming part of a history that is being written right now. Jimin at Stanford Day 2 with Blood, Sweat, and Tears is a reminder of why we love live music. Not just for the sound, not just for the choreography, but because there are certain moments in this world that can only exist when someone extraordinary shares the same space and time as you. When a human body that has trained for years moves in front of your own eyes, performing something you have missed for a long time, under the same sky that you are standing beneath. And now we are all watching the Arirang World Tour continue to unfold. Stanford still has Day 3 on May 19th. After that comes Las Vegas, then Europe, then Japan, then cities not yet announced. Every night, 2 different surprise songs. Every night, the possibility that this particular night will be the one people are still talking about years from now. Will Blood, Sweat, and Tears appear again? Maybe. Maybe in Las Vegas. Maybe in London. Maybe in Tokyo. Or maybe not. Maybe Stanford Day 2 is the one and only night in this entire tour where that song comes back to life. Nobody knows. And that is exactly where the magic lives. If you are the ARMY lucky enough to have been inside Stanford Stadium on the night of May 17th, 2026, you know exactly what I mean. You have something that cannot be bought, cannot be downloaded, cannot be fully transferred through a screen. You have a real memory of the night Jimin danced Blood, Sweat, and Tears right in front of your eyes, and the stadium around you exploded in one collective moment that can never be replicated exactly the same way again. And if you are ARMY who was not there, watching that fan cam on repeat, feeling that mix of pride and longing and hope, you also know something important. Jimin is still here. BTS is still here. And the Arirang World Tour is still going. There are more nights ahead. There are more possibilities that have not yet come to life. There are moments that have not yet been born, waiting in the right city on the right night to explode into something that will be remembered for a lifetime. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, ARMY. If you found this content valuable and you want to keep following the Arirang World Tour journey together, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Leave a comment below. Were you at Stanford Day 2? Or are you, Like so many of us, someone who watched that fan cam in the middle of the night with a feeling that words cannot quite explain? I want to hear your stories. See you in the next video. Purple You Army.